Real faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. I think it's only when our faith is tested that we truly discover its value. My favourite Bible story isn't probably one you would immediately think. It's actually the widow with the 2 copper coins. Everybody's putting their money into the treasury, and the Pharisees are doing it with their trumpets and letting everybody know they're putting in massive amounts of money. And a wee widow lady came and she put in 2 copper coins. That was all she put in. But the Lord knew that that was all she had. That is faith. That is such practical faith. You give everything to the Lord and you are relying on Him completely for everything in your life. I grew up in a village in Comrie in Perthshire. Dad was a full-time church worker and Mum was a stay-at-home mum. And I was only 7 when I became a Christian myself. I knew that Jesus died for me and never doubted it. I was only 18 when I first met Blair at a church service, and I remember thinking, this guy is really funny and I would probably quite like to meet him again. We got married a couple of years later, and within a few years we had our 3 kids, Johnny, Bethany and Anna. When Anna was very young, Blair was given the opportunity to go into full-time ministry, and while that's understandably a difficult decision for some families, I had been brought up that way, so I knew what that life involved, and I had absolutely no doubt that the Lord would look after us. So the days were busy, life flew by in the usual flurry of school runs, homework, clubs, church activities, just normal family life. Didn't feel unwell, things were good. And just in the shower in the morning, it doesn't feel right, there was a lump. Saw the doctor just down at the local surgery, and she referred me really quickly into St John's Hospital. Genuinely thought we'd go in and they would say, oh, it's nothing. So when he said he was going to do a biopsy, oh my, right, okay. So Blair's the other side of the curtain and I'm on the bed. He did the biopsy and I threw up on his floor. Just everything was really quite overwhelming. We really didn't know what to do. You almost felt as if, how do you get out of the hospital? We were absolutely floored, but we didn't know for sure if this was, a definite thing. So we started to think, what do we tell the kids? What do we tell Mum and Dad? So we came home and we cried, we prayed, and we really didn't know whether we were coming or going. And then we went in the following week and they confirmed that it definitely was cancer. So then everything just kicks off. You've one appointment after another. Chemotherapy is horrific. That's probably the only time I thought I was going to die. I was being so sick I couldn't breathe. It was just awful. Blair's not a coper as much as I am. And the one thing I did question was, if he's doing a work for you, Lord, why is this happening? That it's going to affect that. I remember just lying. I couldn't talk and Blair was sitting next to me and I knew he was crying. And I couldn't even speak to him. It was horrible. There was a lot of dark times. It was up and down because you're really poorly when you get your treatment, and then you start to feel a bit better and then down you go again. A couple of weeks later, my hair started to come away, and it wasn't pleasant for the family looking on. When you're lying in bed and all you've got is your thoughts, you discover that it's what you've put in your mind all these years before that are there for you. Hide me now under your wings, cover me within your mighty hand. When the oceans rise and thunders roar, I will soar with you above the storm. Father, you are king over the flood. I will be still and know you are God. God allows things in our lives for so many different reasons. As a family, our experience with cancer is not something you would wish on anyone, but certainly for me it brought us closer together as a family, but it brought us closer to God as well. God sees a much bigger picture than what I can see. When you think of the wee widow woman now, I certainly can fully appreciate what it's like to live with that kind of faith. Because when you've got nothing left to give, that's when the Lord steps in and He carries you through.